Hi everyone, it's Whitney Luna, and today is a topic that I'm a little bit uncomfortable to talk about simply because it's taken over the spiritual community by storm, and I don't think that's bad because, like I mentioned in my update video, but if you didn't watch it, that's completely fine. There's a huge shift going on, and I definitely felt it, and Spirit has been pushing me to make videos again. So, this is one of the topics that spirituality, or that my spirits are pushing me to make. Um, it's a very personal story. I'm gonna keep things as, I guess you could say, as light as possible because I feel weird talking about things when it comes to relationships online. Like, I'm very private in that way. I don't post about my relationship on Instagram, anything like that. Nothing against people who do. Like, I love couples pages where they're funny and they just kind of, feed off of one another's energy, but it's not something I'm interested in. I prefer to keep my private life private. But Spirit wants me to share this story with the collective, with hope, in hopes of hopefully helping other people that are struggling on this journey, because it is not an easy journey. It's very exhausting. It's very dark, and it's very depressing if you don't have the right guidance, because you really need guidance on this journey. My spirit guides are very loud, so I don't generally need any outer guidance because I was told by Spirit from the beginning, don't go to psychics, don't go to tarot readers. That's not going to give you the answers. Everything is within. You need to find the answers within. So I'm going to start with my twin flame story. I'm not going to say how we met. I don't think that's important. I'm just going to start from the beginning. And I'm going to say that when we initially met, I didn't think really anything. I thought this person was attractive. I thought they were a great person. It was one of those people that when you meet them, the conversation just flows, and the best way I can compare it is if you see a relative that you're really close to, or you see an old friend that you're really close to, and you guys meet up and you're just kind of, the conversation is effortless. That's what it was like with this person. There was no butterflies. There was no, big gust of love or anything that you see in the movies where they see the love of their life and it's just like, oh my God. It was just one thing I can honestly say is like a comfort, but it was so comfortable that I didn't even notice it. Right? So we were talking, things were fine, nothing. I can't even fully remember. Maybe it was after the first time we spoke, like maybe a couple days after, where the Kundalini just shot through me. And I went through a Kundalini experience maybe about 10 years before, and it wasn't as intense as this one. The one that I went through before, it started and then it ended because right when it started, I got into like an unhealthy relationship with that whole energy vampire, which I have a video on if you want to watch. But yeah, so it started back then, but it never turned into what it happened with this. And I think that it was meant to be that way because it's really intense, and to the point where it's almost scary because you have no idea what's going on. So after we started talking, my sacral and my heart in particular shot open, and I remember waking up and I remember my body shaking and just all this like feeling going through my heart chakra. And I woke up and I just had flashes of all these things that happened throughout my life. And it wasn't just flashes of anything. These were all flashes of things that made my heart chakra close. Starting from childhood, whether I was betrayed by someone that I should have been able to trust, or, times where someone was not a good friend to me, also times where I wasn't a good friend to other people. So it was a lot, like just a lot of flashes, a lot of emotions coming through. And thankfully it was over a weekend. So, I could just lay in bed and cry, and that's all I did. And the person that, my twin flame, they were just like, I'm here if you need me. But I literally said to them, I'm like, there's nothing you can do. Like, it was so surreal. It was so over the top that I seriously thought I was losing my mind. I even went to the occult shop because I was like, what is happening to me? What is, and it was something that she hadn't experienced because she practices completely different magic from me. So this happened for maybe a few days, and I did let my twin know. I'm like, look, this is happening to me. And they just said, I wish I could hold you. I wish I could help you through this. Because I literally said, I'm just like, I need to be alone. Like, this is insane. I've never experienced this in my life. Like, I wake up and I go to bed and I'm just like shaking. I'm shaking. Nothing is making things go away. After that happened, then the obsessive thoughts came to started to happen. The obsessive thoughts of my twin, where I couldn't even concentrate on basic things because all I could do was think about them. Now, I also wanted to point out that, like I said, from the beginning, there was definitely an attraction there, but it wasn't like that. Like what people talk about online, where they're like, oh, I felt so much love, this and this. To be honest, I noticed that it was the divine masculine who felt all that from the beginning. They were just like, and I want to point out that the divine masculine can either be in a man's body or a woman's body. Same with the divine feminine. It has nothing to do with the outer. This is a spiritual journey. This is a spiritual ascension, a spiritual ascension, whatever you want to call it. And when it comes down to that, we're all just energy, right? But the reason why I say divine masculine, divine feminine is because in my union, the other person is the divine masculine. I could tell from the beginning, and I'm definitely the divine feminine. If you're watching this video and you're looking for answers, you are definitely the divine feminine. So I'm just going to point that out. So like I said, I noticed that from the beginning, it was the divine masculine who always said to me, wait, this video is acting weird, that they were the ones that felt all this like extreme love, like the butterflies, all this stuff. And not to say, like I said, that I didn't feel anything, but it was, oh my God, this video. Mine was more clearing. It wasn't this intense love. It was more just, I was feeling so much anxiety and so much clearing in my chakras that I really just, I enjoyed talking with them. You know, it was a great connection, but I was just dealing with so much cleansing within the chakras that I didn't even think about anything outside of that. But I did always have a message from spirit saying that this is not meant to be a long, long, long relationship, which I didn't really think much of it. You know, I just kind of continued on. We continued talking. This video, I don't know what is going on. Sorry guys. We continued talking and then eventually got to a point. I also wanted to point out that one of the things, or a few things that happened was the Kundalini. I had an increase of creativity. I had an increase of energy. I was sleeping like 2-3 hours a night. You know, I'd go outside and everything would be so bright and vibrant and beautiful. It was like, I don't know, like how you feel in childhood where everything is just so innocent and so clear and so beautiful. But one of the things Spirit said to me from the beginning of being with this person, or not that we were together, but do not go to psychics, do not go to tarot readers, do not speak to other people about this because no one will understand, and even people who are psychic, who can read tarot, will not understand and will not be able to provide the information that you need in order to move forward. This is what you need to figure out, and you need to find your own answers, right? So over time, I noticed that things started to crumble. It was funny because at the beginning, everything was great. Like, you know, you go through the honeymoon, suddenly you have an increase in luck, like everything just happens to work the way it's meant to. Like I said, increase in luck, I had to change of jobs. But towards the end of it, suddenly all that started to move backwards. And I remember hearing from Spirit saying, okay, it's time to end. It's time to end. You know, if this continues on, it's going to be not very good, right? So I ignored that. Things went on and I went from having good luck to bad luck. You know, things even breaking down in the home. Like it was like suddenly I got this like beautiful blessing to things just crumbling. And at that time I did what Spirit told me not to do. And what did I do? I went to a tarot reader. And she was amazing. She was wonderful. But there's a lot of things that she didn't see. And then when I continued talking with this person, suddenly everything just exploded. Everything just went crazy. And I was like, yeah, I should have listened to Spirit. I should have walked away. You know, it was time to end it, and I didn't end it. And then I went to a tarot reader, and then I went to this, and then I went to that. And it just obliterated. Not to say that just because I went to the tarot reader, that's why it happened. No, but I wasn't following what Spirit said, right? And I also want to put a warning out there, and Spirit told me this as well, is that if Spirit tells you not to do something, don't do it, right? Just don't. And you possibly going to a reader or going to a tarot reader can cause havoc in their lives. Not that I'm saying you can ruin their life or that you have the power to do that. No. But because you're causing a negative ripple in your journey, you can also cause a negative ripple within them. So just beware of that. because that can happen, because spirit is kind of forcing you to go on your own path and saying, look, this is the way, this is the way. And instead you're going the other way, trying to use someone else's energy. And not that I saw it that way. I wasn't, I didn't see it as using someone else's energy. I was just really full of anxiety. And I wasn't looking within myself, which is exactly what spirit told me to do from the beginning. So after all that, the separation happens, you're not talking, and then you go into soul shock. And that was crazy, because I was like, what's happening? Like, why do I have all this anxiety? Why, I thought my sacral, my heart opened, and suddenly I feel so much heaviness in my heart. And it was like, again, I went to tarot readers, even though they told me not to. And it was like, I started going backwards. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to what spirit has to say. What did spirit tell me? It said, okay, listen, you know how to clear your aura. You know how to balance the lower chakras, which is the ones that I was still struggling with. You know how to do all this stuff. Why aren't you doing it? So I started to get into the aura cleanses. I started to do all the things that I did way before all this, like the things that I learned how to do. And I noticed that the soul shock started to get less and less. My messages from spirit got even louder. I started to have so many dreams about water and like everything to do with water, because that's my element. That's my healing element. So yeah, spirit is definitely there for you on this journey if you're willing to listen. Because I think a lot of people, divine feminines especially, you kind of get the rug pulled out from under your feet, and you just feel so like it's a shock. It's that soul shock. And they're like, oh my God, I got to know what my divine masculine is doing. I got to know what they're doing. I got to know this. I got to know that. First of all, you are your twin. You're a soul that was split into two, from what I understand. So a lot of what you're feeling oftentimes is what the other person is feeling, right? Because, for instance, I'm a life path number 7. I'm a loner by nature. I can be single for a long time. That doesn't bother me. But I noticed that my divine masculine did struggle with this. So when the separation happened, I felt so much anxiety, so much sadness. I couldn't think. I couldn't, this and this. And then I remember spirit saying to me, it's not you. It's their energy that you're picking up on. So that's when I got back into the aura cleanses, and I said, okay, spirit, send off love, whatever it is that you need to do. But this is my journey. I need to keep balance within myself, for myself and for the people around me that I love and need to take care of. So, I don't want to carry this person's sadness and anger. I don't want to hold on to that, because it's not my baggage to carry. So once I got into the aura cleanses, did all that stuff, it started to dissipate more and more and more. I'm going to close this by saying that for the people that are really hurting on this journey, in some ways I understand it, but in some other ways I don't, because like I said, I'm a loner and I'm kind of already dead inside. So it's easy for me to disconnect. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I'm at a stage in my life now when it comes to spirituality that it's really easy for me to see why things happen the way they do and how things happen the way they do. It needed to be catastrophic in order for me to fully walk away and disengage and focus on myself, because that energy is intoxicating. That safety feeling, especially if you've never had that, is intoxicating, and it makes you, it gives you a sense of security that you may have never had. But because of how it happened, I was able to really walk away and say, okay, I need to focus on myself. This, it went the other way instead of moving forward. I need to focus on myself. I started to notice blockages within myself that were still there. And I was like, okay, there's a reason why this happened. So, I can understand why divine feminines especially become very obsessive and almost like need to control everything and say, okay, I need to know what they're doing. I need to know this. I need to know that. That is a very unhealthy way to live, because at the end of the day, this is about you finding yourself outside of everything else. Who are you outside of, your union? I don't even know if that's the way to say it, but you need to find out who you are. You're not in alignment, most likely. You're most likely, you might have a job that you hate. You might be living in a place that you hate. There just might be a lot of things in your life that suddenly when you're separated, you realize, I don't like any of this stuff. And it has nothing to do with the other person and everything with you not being in alignment. I'm going to use a weird example that my 90s followers will understand. So the best way to describe meeting a twin flame, hold on, I need to move my leg. It's like falling asleep. The best way to describe the whole twin flame thing is, You know in Super Mario, when you see the star show up and you eat the star and he starts going all crazy and nothing can kill him and he starts running really fast and, you can jump over all the bad guys without even like really doing anything to them. That's basically what it's like when you first find your twin flame. You're on cloud nine. Like I said, your luck changes. You go through the kundalini, once the anxiety subsides, then things feel really great. And that's what you need to get back to without thinking that you need this person in your life. Because you need to see it as a gift. As painful as it might be and as sad as you might be, you need to see this as a gift because that's what the universe gave you and is kind of saying, okay, we gave you this energy, we open your chakras, where, you have a stronger connection with source, your third eye's open. Now you're going to go out into the world and do what you're meant to do. Here's your gift, here's your ascension. Go out into the world and do what you were sent here to do. I saw another video in regards to soulmates and, people that struggle with not being able to be with their soulmate or their twin flame or whatever it is. And she said this, she's like, in school, when you're sitting with your best friend and you're disrupting the class and your marks drop, what does the teacher do? The teacher separates you. And what happens when the teacher separates you? Your marks get back up, you're able to attain the information, you learn better, you're more independent. That's the same thing. Yeah, it's all wonderful, it's great. And I noticed for myself, I started to get lazy. Like, I was working a job that I didn't even like. Yeah, the money was great, but I didn't even like it. And then Spirit was like, nope, that's not the job for you. You could be making more money and you could be doing something you actually like. I looked at my own chakras and I was like, yeah, although my heart and my sacral were open, there's still a few things that I needed to clear within my own energy. So it really is about finding who you are and realizing, seeing the imbalances within your own life that are like, nope, that's not working for you. Nope, this, you're working this job, it's not working for you. No, you live in that house, you say it's okay, but you don't really like it because it turns out that, the people around you might have bad energy. Like whatever it is, it highlights those parts in your life that need to end and need to change. And sometimes those endings happen in not so great ways. And sometimes, the universe gives you a smooth transition. But then there's some people that say, they're like, oh, I wish I never met my twin. I wish I never experienced this. And I was like, well, would you be happy just going through life on autopilot and not really realizing what needs to change? And also, if it was just a regular relationship, you wouldn't really be pushed to fix those things about yourself, right? Like for me, I noticed there was still a lot of blockages in my body, within my aura, and there were certain things out in my outer world that needed to change, and I didn't even realize that until I saw that person and then they left. So see it that way. See it as your glass half full and not half empty. Look at the blessings you have. Yeah, you may not be where you want to be, but you still have a roof over your head. You still have a computer to watch this. You still have, amazing friends, amazing family, whatever it is that helps you on this journey. That's the way you need to see it. So I think that's all I wanted to say for this. I hope I provided some good information. I also wanted to say that I will be uploading videos on what has helped me on the journey, what has helped me to heal, and what has most importantly helped me to completely disconnect and focus on myself. Because I think that's really important, because I try to talk about things that aren't really talked about on other channels. I also want to say one last thing. I know this is a really long video, but if you're the Divine Feminine, I know you have no issue watching this. I also wanted to say that there is a lot of great information out there, but you need to be very careful about who you listen to and where you go. As much as I say, don't go to tarot readers, don't do this, there is great spiritualists out there that are willing to help you on the journey. But if they say something like, oh, come to me, pay $700 and I'll clear your chakras and I'll bring your twin flame back, that is a scam. I'm going to tell you that right now, because this is about you, and it's about you healing yourself and completely disconnecting and becoming the best version of you without even thinking about the other person. That other person will never forget about you. That other person is you. I can't tell you how many times, even just in my regular day where all of a sudden I'll feel sadness and I'm like, oh, that's definitely them. I'll definitely do twin flame signs, all that stuff. So what else did I want to say? Oh yeah. When it comes to videos, there's a lot of great channels out there on YouTube, but I do want to say that even if they have a lot of, followers and they've helped a lot of people, just use other people's experiences as blueprints because no two stories are exactly the same. There's great, guides that I've watched on YouTube who give great information, but it hasn't been my experience. And it's not to say that they're wrong because they certainly aren't, because they've helped a lot of people. I just say to use their videos as a blueprint. No two twins are exactly alike. No two journeys are exactly alike. Use it as a blueprint. Take what you know to be fact, and spirit will share that with you, and then go on your own journey. Use that as a guide, but not fact. It's not, nothing is written in stone. This is all about you, and this is all about finding your own path and finding out who you are meant to be in this world. So yeah, I hope I worded that right. I feel like I always just kind of talk, but yeah, that's it for this video. I love you guys so much. Feel free to comment your own twin flame stories. I love hearing about them. Any questions you might have, anything like that, just feel free to leave a comment. So yeah, that's it for this video. Bye guys.